MSNBC's parent, Comcast, is like, we want civility. Can we please have some civility? They're saying that they want civility. Isn't that rich? The media wants civility right now. Well, I'll tell you, you might have to actually start with some of the leaders in the Democrat Party, and then you can work your way through the media because, I know you fired the guy who said all those heinous things on MSNBC during the live coverage of the Charlie Kirk shooting. He deserved to be fired, absolutely. He was terrible on TV as well. Well, you got another one who I'll tell you is not very good on TV, but for some reason she gets a pass because she checks a few boxes, and apparently because, a lot of Somalia has now relocated to the U.S. They're voting for her out in her state, and she goes on with this guy who used to be at MSNBC, but he was fired because he also was a little in that Joy Reid camp and was promoting extremism himself. Well, now he's promoting it all day long with the likes of Ilhan Omar, who, like I said, I had to actually spend valuable time out of my day cleaning up her disgusting language. But this is what she's saying after a guy who was a hero in the conservative movement? A guy who, by the way, the NFL had a moment of silence for last night. The Yankees had a moment of silence for 2 nights ago. The President of the United States clearly valued, adored the Vice President carrying his casket, and Ilhan Omar saying this.
Yesterday, saying this is a Democratic Party problem, as if people like you are not getting death threats all the time, credible ones.
I mean, it's actually disgusting. I'm
sorry, no, she's disgusting, but we're going to listen to it because you need to know. You need to know what they're saying. If you don't hear this, you don't know how bad it really is. So we're going to watch and listen together.
It reminds you that although these people pretend to be adults, that they are sometimes, they think a lot less than even children do when it comes to compassion, when it comes to thoughtfulness, when it comes to being a leader.
I'm sorry. These people are celebrating the death of a guy who was totally nonviolent, who just went to college campuses to have some debates. Wow.
I did expect the president's address to the nation would have been a lot more compassionate filled. It would have been less partisan. He doesn't even know who the assassin is for him to say, yes, wing lunatic.
Like the guy's sane? Ilhan Omar, you don't think he's a lunatic? Obviously, you're the lunatic if you don't think a guy who's shooting like a sniper would from 200 yards away, killing a 31-year-old nonviolent person, you're the lunatic, lady.
I think it kind of denigrated his status and the status of the office he holds. But what I do know for sure is that, Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay.
Scumbag. Okay, just for the record, George Floyd in 2007, he went to jail for like 5 years because of a 2007 armed robbery where he held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach as people robbed her. They dressed up as though they were utility workers. They busted into her home. She's pregnant and he holds a gun to her belly. That guy doesn't think he's a scumbag. And Ilhan Omar, we're going to give that guy a pass all day long. They make me sick.
Slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. And you have people like Nancy Mace who constantly harass people that she finds inferior and wants them not to exist in this country or ever. And you have people like Trump, who has incited violence against people like me. And so these people are foolish, and it's important for us to call them out while we feel anger and sadness and have empathy, which Charlie said no, it shouldn't exist because that's a newly created word or something. Like, I have empathy for his kids and his wife and what they're going through, because I do not want
no one should go through that, and we hold ourselves, I hope, to higher standards.
And we consider you and I as people of deep faith.
Okay, that is just like, that was a train wreck, all right? But we know she's a pretty sketchy person, and I say this knowing I've just seen her filing, and somehow her husband miraculously just increased his wealth in the last 2 years by some 3,500%. Oh, he says he's a venture capitalist, but actually he's not. He's a lobbyist. He is a lobbyist. Huh, funny. He works all around the world to lobby for everybody's stuff. Maybe that means he's a foreign agent too? I don't know. But it seems kind of amazing that you go from negative 1,000 to nearly $30 million in the span of 2 years. Ilhan, I got my suspicions. I bet Trump does too. I think the IRS ought to be looking at you, honey bunny. Anyway, we don't do that because we're not Lois Lerner, right? But it's suspicious, trust me. And I don't think these people have any values. You know what? I was impressed by Bernie Sanders, though. Look at what he said right here. The murder of Charlie Kirk is part of a disturbing rise in political violence that threatens to hollow out our public life. A free society relies on the premise that people can speak out without fear or humiliation. No more political violence. You know what? I don't cut Bernie a lot of slack. I don't like socialists or communists, especially ones that ride on private jets and hold millions of dollars worth of real estate through multiple homes. But that was the right thing to say. Ilhan Omar, wrong thing to say. There's a right in this world. There's a wrong in this world. And it's actually not that complicated. It's not. So Comcast, they want to clean things up. They're calling for civility over at NBC. They're going to have some work to do over at MSNBC, but good thing they got rid of that guy that you just saw. Good thing they got rid of Joy Reid. I think they got a few more to go. They got rid of Matt Dowd the other day, who really never had much to add anyway. His big claim to fame is he's dating Maria Shriver. Woo! Well, this fired CNN host should be fired from his new network. This guy is one bad dude. I'm talking about someone named Chris Cuomo. You remember him? He's the one that used to joke with his brother who was sending all the people that were infected with COVID into nursing homes where they would then infect the elderly. And so you had thousands of elderly people dying, and yet he would go on television with his brother and they'd laugh and they'd joke. And he made a big giant fool of himself there, and he's continuing to do it. Oh, here. Well, my friend Benny Johnson had a thing to say. He brought Benny on to talk about Charlie and his legacy, and he started to blame Benny and blame Charlie and say, well, you guys are dishing it out and it's all for money, blah, blah, blah. Can we fire him again? I know some of the people over there. I think they should take a look. Maybe I should make some calls. This guy, he wants attention, okay? And I hate to give it to him, but you got to see this.
I don't really care how we got here so much. There is a lot of blame to go around. I do not see you guys as victims. You give as good as you get. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of exaggeration. It is all hate for profit on the fringe of this battling binary political system. My question is now what?
Charlie Kirk has never advocated violence ever. Charlie Kirk was only
I'm not saying he did.
A nonviolent, peaceful debater. He went into places where he knew he was hated in order to engage.
I agree.
Kindly and humanly
that
with people.
He was not about violence.
For you to say that it's the same thing.
Oh, hold on.
It's not, Chris.
Hold on. I'm not talking about it with Charlie. Benny, don't play games with me. I'm giving you latitude because you deserve it, because this was your friend and this is scary and it hurts and it could have just as easily been you.
Okay, you know what this reminds me of? He's been taking lessons from Bill O'Reilly. That is like a direct move out of Bill O'Reilly. He gets Bill O'Reilly on his show now and then, and now he's trying to copy Bill O'Reilly because that is totally a Bill O'Reilly expression. I'm sorry, Chris, come up with something new, would you, buddy? You just insulted Benny then, I guess. You said, oh, Charlie's not violent, but you're violent. Benny, did you hear him say, you guys are dishing it out for profit? I heard that. Benny heard it. Let's listen.
Humanization is wrong. It's wrong. And
There's no question, but Benny,
you'll never be able to chew me out, Chris, because I'll never dehumanize.
Benny,
if I hear that Joe Biden gets a terminal cancer diagnosis, I'll say a prayer for him. I'll say that I hope he lives the rest of his days painless. That's exactly what I said. And every person that I know and respect, and I know them all in my ecosystem, said the same thing. Not a single one of us celebrated. Not a single one of us celebrated Joe Biden's terminal cancer diagnosis. Now, I can show you a endless series of TikToks and celebration posts and T-shirts made celebrating this travesty. There is a fundamental difference of those who glorify death on the left, and it is demonic, it's sick, and it's dark, and it needs to be.
All right, but
it needs to be disavowed.
Benny, I hear you.
You don't hear him. You don't hear anything. You're just looking to try and get some ratings on your really pathetic show that no one watches. You also have a pathetic little podcast that no one watches. And apparently you don't even have your video, right? But let's take a listen to what he was actually saying. It's gross.
When the richest man in the world who controls...
Just to fill you in, I actually retweeted this. Elon Musk saying the left is the party of murder. I'm sorry, what do you think is going on? I mean, who's the one doing this? It's not the conservatives, okay? And this idiot is out there trying to call now for what? Elon Musk's destruction? Listen.
The most powerful platform in our media writes that the left is the party of murder, and then decides, Elon Musk, I'm talking about this, the stupidest genius I've ever been around. And no, I'm not going to excuse it because he's autistic. I have a lot of autistic people in my life. They are not all morally bankrupt, okay? They don't all say the stupidest thing at the worst time. All right? I don't know what it's about with him, and I don't give a
Oh, wow.
He is, in my opinion, exhausted his usefulness. Now, does that mean he should be murdered? No, because that's not how I see the value of human life. But would I be surprised? No. I wouldn't be surprised if it's me. I mean, that's where we are. It's who we are. That's who we are. But when he can write the left is the party of this, and then he goes on this thing about why black is capitalized and why white is not, the medium is the message. We are about division and hate of what we are.
Please, no, you are, okay? So sorry I had to put my face over his. I'm sure you'd rather see my face than his. I'd rather see my face than his. Anyway, his video is all screwed up, so not sure what's going over on his podcast in terms of production value, but whatever. That is the guy that was fired from CNN, who was then attacking Benny on his God knows what show that nobody watches and nobody's heard of, and then started to go after Elon Musk because Elon Musk is calling this stuff out. Elon Musk is making the point, I made the same point with you guys the other day, like, why do we always capitalize black in the New York Times, but it's lowercase white? Why shouldn't it be lowercase black? Oh, just so you know, the rationale behind that one is black is an identity, white is not. Excuse me? Again, there's a lot of black people in the world from all over the world. I mean, Africa's a pretty big continent. You got a lot of black people there. Do you think they all have something in common with each other? Oh, do they have something in common with people that grew up in Georgia or people that grew up in New York City? No, it's like saying, me, Trish Regan, you're from New Hampshire and you're Irish, and therefore you're exactly the same as someone from Ukraine or someone from Poland. I mean, because you're all white, right? You must all have the same experiences. But they think that everybody who's black is exactly the same. I'm sorry, that's a very, very narrow view of the world, New York Times, AP, and the rest of you, like Chris Cuomo. Very narrow view of the world. Everything, it's all lowercase, okay? Because, if you're Nigerian, then I get it, okay? If you're, if you want to go with African American, I get it. If you're Haitian, capital H, just like if you're Irish, capital I, Irish American. These people, though, he's going on about, they're all trying to divide. What do you think he's doing? He's doing plenty of it himself, and he's doing it for attention. He's doing it for clicks, and I'll tell you this. I mean, some people are getting kind of fed up. This guy, you've never heard of him before. I guarantee you. His biggest claim to fame, like I said, is he is dating Maria Shriver. I used to work with him at Bloomberg. He actually seemed like a reasonable, sensible enough analyst back then. But, TDS happened, and these people all went off the deep end, including one Matt Dowd. Look at what he said about Charlie Kirk as the guy is getting operated on. I'm getting texts from friends. Charlie's not going to make it, we don't think. And I'm hoping to God, like he will. Like I went on the air with you the other day and we blew out the whole show. I mean, I was going to talk about the poor Ukrainian girl, and for goodness sakes, I got a report that a guy I've known for some 10 years just got shot by some maniac and is in surgery, and this one said this.
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Wow. Like he deserved it. You're like Georgie Poo over there in the UK. The guy that debated Charlie Kirk and lost, but got promoted to become the president of the Oxford Union Debate Society, laughing about it on WhatsApp, laughing about it on Instagram. Oh, he deserves this? He deserves this because he dared to express a viewpoint that might be different than you? I don't think so. MSNBC lady's freaking out. The woman who runs MSNBC, I mean, I'm telling you, she's on the chopping block because she's got a messed up situation over there on MSNBC. Nobody is getting any ratings. They're paying Rachel Maddow $25 million a year. They can't afford. In about 8 to 10 weeks, they're supposed to spin off as the Ms. Network. Yeah, MS now. Ms. So they're going to be the Ms. Network, and not only that, they're going to be under the umbrella of something called Versant, or Versant, as they would say. And that Versant is supposed to be mean and lean and ready for this new generation of media, only they're cable. So clearly they can't be ready for the new generation of media because they are by very definition the old generation of media. This is like radio, okay? I'm sorry, bye-bye cable. We're not watching you anymore. We've all cut the cord. I did so. I saved like $600. That shows you how many cable boxes I had in my house, right? Cut the cord. If you haven't, do it. Take the plunge. You're going to save yourself a fortune. Anyway, Rebecca Cutler, she knows this. She's got no rating. She's now in charge of a dying network. She did fire Joy Reid. Kudos to her for that one. She did fire Matthew Dowd. Kudos to her for that one. But she's got a lot of other problems there on her network, as we know, right? Jen Psaki's one. Rachel costs a ton of money. I'm sure you could keep Chris Hayes, who looks just like Rachel, right in that slot. Kind of sounds like Rachel, too. Same kind of like staccato in the voice. Just keep him. He's cheaper. That would be my advice. Statement from MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler. During our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as he has. There's no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. That was at 7:01 last night. Or maybe night before. Gosh, I gotta tell you guys, these days are kind of, unfortunately, just like blurring into each other, right? It's been quite a week, I think, for all of us. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up because you've been grieving with me, and I love you for that because I don't feel alone in this. I have all of you. We're coming up on 1 million subs, and you're as upset as I am, and we're in this together, and Charlie's legacy is going to live on. But I would just say that was not enough. So at 7 o'clock, she tweets that out. I retweeted it saying, hey, MSNBC, not enough. Guess what they did? Within an hour, They got rid of the guy. Matt Dowd. Bye, 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 bye. I don't think he cost them much, but you know, every penny counts these days. And he's not doing you any favors, so they fired him. And he deserved to be fired. You know who else deserves to be fired? And I guarantee you she's not costing you that much, but she's terrible on television and she's lighting a fire all the time, all day long. The one with the drapey hair that I call the wallflower. She should not be working in TV. I think she used to be some kind of a political op, like running campaigns and stuff. Oh yeah, she's the one that hated Sarah Palin so much. She really shouldn't be on TV. But you know what? Who am I to say? Rebecca, I could do a much better job handling your network, but that would actually make me an MSNBC employee. Okay, here's Nicole.
The permission structure for violence. You've got polls about political violence. Democrats don't think it's a good idea. Only Republicans. Only people inclined to consume conservative media are now, I think, upward of 50% say that if necessary, violence is okay. You've only got the conduct on one of the two sides.
You see, they think it's us. But I would just say the evidence, the actual evidence, who does it point to? Da-da-da, drum roll, please, them.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yeah. I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
Well, they took you literally, guys. They took you quite literally now, didn't they?